Hello students, myself Dr. Pallavi Rai. I am Associate Professor in Ramesh Institute of Vocational and Technical Education, Greater Noida. Today I am going to discuss on the topic of resins, which is one of the secondary metabolites in your unit 4. So what are resins? In any plant whichever contains volatile oils, due to certain pathological conditions or due to certain enzymatic procedures, the volatile oils start decomposing and degrading into resinous material. The main reaction which takes place is the oxygenation reaction. So the products and the byproducts of this oxygenation, they form the resinous compounds. It can be through a natural process or it can be due to certain pathological conditions. So if we look at the definition, it says that they are the complex amorphous product of more or less solid characteristics, means they are solid in nature, amorphous in nature, and when we heat it, it softens and then it melts. And generally if we do the chemical testing, we will find that it is a mixture which is a complex mixture of volatile oils, oxygenated products of volatile oils, and carboxylic acids. Generally, they are produced in the serogenous glands of the plants, or they are also stored in these cavities of various plants. Now, as you can see in this slide, that this is how the collection is done. Normally, the plants, this is the trunk of a tree where the injury has been made or due to certain natural procedure, the tears of the trees, they are coming out in the liquid form, and when the collector is placed, gradually due to the environmental factors, these solidify and we get the resinous material. These are some other examples in the in this particular figure. You can see these are the encrustations of certain insects which are with the help of the plant substances as well as the insects enzymes, they together produce encrustations which are resinous in nature, and this is how it is collected in various poly bags, or different modes of incisions are put so as the collection is efficient enough. Now, the properties of resins. The isolated resin products, they are generally unorganized drugs. As you all know, unorganized drugs means the acellular drugs, or those drugs which do not have any cellular structure present in them. And they are generally sold in the market in a solid, hard, transparent or translucent material. So if a freshly collected resin is collected, then it is generally transparent or translucent in nature, but gradually it may become opaque with time on solidification. They are generally insoluble in most polar and non-polar solvents. They dissolve in only few solvents, for example alcohol, solvent ether, benzene or chloroform. Now, if we look at the chemical composition of resins, as we already discussed, that it is a very complex mixture and it is very diverse in nature. You will not get a simple kind of resin or a single component in resin. It will always be a mixture which is present. And one of the important ingredient in this mixture is the volatile oil and its oxygenated products. So if we look at the volatile oils, we have already discussed that it exists in the form of various functional groups like acid volatile oils, alcohol volatile oils, etc. So the same thing is there in resins also. We have different type of volatile oils present in this resinous mixture, which may be acidic, alcoholic, phenolic, ester group or hydrocarbons in nature. Sometimes glycosides are also present, and the volatile oils which are present, they may be monoterpenoids, sesquiterpenoids, and in few cases diterpenoids. One more thing which I would like to discuss is that these resins don't exist alone at times. They exist in a form of mixture with other pathological products. For example, the gums. In plants, we have cellulose in the cell wall, and due to certain pathological conditions or due to certain enzymatic condition, naturally the cellulose gets converted into gums. And when these gums and resins, they come together, we can call them as gum resin, and they also ooze out in mixtures. Same thing is there with certain oils, the fixed oils and the resins. When they come together, we call them oleoresins. And when sometimes there is a combination of gum, oil and resins, we call it gum oleoresins. So they always exist in a mixture and a very complex nature, and it is very difficult to isolate each ingredient separately and then study them. And as we already discussed, they can be of physiological nature in the plant itself, or they can be the pathological products. Now, if we look at the classification is based on two methods. One is the chemical nature of the resin and second is the association with the other group. It means that which type of functional group is there in a majority of the resinous compounds. Second classification is based that in which combinations they are being produced in the plants. So when we look at the chemical classification based on the active functional groups, it is resin acids, resin esters, resin alcohols and resin phenols. When we look at resin acids, in resin acids the main functional group which is present is carboxylic acid, and it may or may not exist with phenolic compounds. These compounds are found in free states as carboxylic acid or their esters, and being acidic in nature, because it is a carboxylic acid, it is acidic in nature. If we add this to an aqueous solution of alkali, then it will produce a frothy solution. It also reacts with metallic salts and forms resinates, which generally are used in soap, paint and varnish industries. The example as shown in this slide is colophony, as well as certain other drugs like myrrh, and the main chemicals are abatic acid and comiphoric acid. Resin esters. In resin esters, they mainly have the ester of various resin acids. For example, benzoic acid esters, cinnamic or cinnamate esters, salicylic acid esters. And generally, these esters, when they are mixed in caustic alkali, then they produce the free acids. The ester dissociates to produce the carboxylic acids. And the example is benzoin, loban, which you know naturally, which is used in our religious activities. So this benzoin is a type of a resin which is obtained from a plant. Resin alcohols, they are also known as the resinols, and they are complex alcoholic compounds of very high molecular weight. Like resin acids, they are also found as free alcohols or again as esters of benzoic acid, salicylic acid and cinnamic acid. They are insoluble. See, this is a difference, that these are insoluble in alkali solutions, but they are soluble in alcohol and ether. Like we saw in resin acids and resin esters, they were soluble in alkaline solution, but resin alcohols are not soluble in alkaline solutions. Resinols are again found in benzoin, which we discussed already as benzoresinol, and in a Storex drug, and also a picture as you show balsam of Peru. This also contains resin alcohol. The fourth category is of the resin phenols, which are a bit rare, but they do exist, and they are known as resinotenols also, and they are high molecular weight. They exist either in free states or as esters. And due to the phenolic group, they form phenoxoids and become soluble. Again, these are soluble in aqueous alkaline solution. But they are insoluble in water, but dissolve in alcohol and ether. And the example as shown in this picture is the cashew nuts. The cashew nuts, when they are processed, before processing they have a black color layer on their peel. That peel is a rich source of resin phenols and it is highly acidic in nature. On processing, this peel is removed and then whatever we get is the raw cashews the processed cashews which we use. The next classification is of those resins which exist in association. They are glucoresins, means they exist with glucose or sugar moieties. Oleoresins means they exist with oils. Oleogum resins means they exist with oils, gums. And gluco-oleoresins, again it is similar only. Then we have the balsams and the resins, which are complex resinous substances. Now when we look at glucoresins, resins sometimes get combined with sugars by glycosylation and become glucoresins. Glucoresins can be easily hydrolyzed by acidic hydrolysis to give the glycone and the aglycone part. And the example is jalap root. The picture is showing the roots of jalap, and when it is processed, it releases the glucoresins of jalap. The second resin is oleoresin. So this combination is when there is a mixture of the resin with volatile oils, and the oleoresin possesses as an essence due to the volatile oils. A trace amount of gummy material may sometimes be found in the oleoresins, and there are many examples, one of which is ginger, then we have turpentine, Canada resin, etc. Gum resins, they naturally occurring mixture of resins with gums. Due to the solubility in water, gums can be easily separated out from resins by dissolving the gum in water, and ammonia gum is an example of natural gum resin. Again, the drug which I have shown, Mir, also contains some amount of gum resins. Then we have the oleogum resins. This is a very common example of hing or Asafoetida. So oleogum resin, what will it be? It is a mixture of resins with volatile oils and gums. And the example includes gum myrrh, Asafoetida, gamboge, etc. Oleogum resins ooze out from the incisions made in the bark and then it hardens. Now, what are balsams? Balsams are naturally occurring resinous mixtures which contain a high proportion of the aromatic balsamic acids. For example, the benzoic acid, which is aromatic in nature, cinnamic acid, which is aromatic nature, and their esters. So, it is not a combination of other ingredients. It only has the esters which occur in a very complex structure. Means the benzoic acid reacts with cinnamic acid. So, we have benzoates, cinnamates existing in a complex way. So it is different combinations and very complex structures. Some of the examples of the balsams are like balsam of Peru, balsam of Tolu, benzoin, storex, etc. And balsams generally contain free acids. They are partially soluble in hot water. Generally they are not soluble in other solvents. Sometimes Kapoebia and Canada balsam, they are wrongly referred to as balsams. The resins, they are chemically inert resinous substances and generally they are known as the resins. They are found in free state and never form esters. So this is one of the main difference, that they never form esters or other derivatives. They are completely inert resinous materials. They are soluble in benzene, chloroform and to some extent in petroleum ether, but insoluble in water as well as alcohol. Asafoetida is one such drug which contains asaresin B in the concentration of about 50%. Another drug is Damer, which is again, as you can see in the picture, it is slightly different. Till now we saw that they are generally dark brown in color or reddish brown in color, but Damer is one drug which is completely pale yellow in color. Now the isolation of resins. So the isolation process of resins from the crude drug can be a little difficult because it is a combination of products which have to be isolated. However, a general technique can be used, like what we do is we extract the drug with alcohol, generally it may be methanol or ethanol, and after that we precipitate this alcoholic extract by addition of large proportion of water. When the large proportion of water is added, the resin starts precipitating on the surface. The method of distillation or hydrodistillation can also be used to separate the volatile oils from the resins, and this is generally done in the process of turpentine resin, because turpentine oil is also required. So turpentine oil is separated from the resin by the method of hydrodistillation. Some of the other methods of isolation are, as we already discussed, that we can extract it in alcohol and after that we precipitate it with large amounts of water, and some of the drugs like jalap, ipomia, podophyllum, capsicum, ginger, etc., these can be isolated by this method. The second method is again the distillation method, where we already discussed that if you want to separate the oils from the resin, we can go for the distillation methods. Then another method is heating the plant part. One drug, Vacuum, can be isolated by simply heating the plant, the resin material that oozes out. Sometimes plant exudates the resins by making incisions or cut. For example, Asafoetida, it is collected from the root of the tree. So just above the root, in the crown area, a cut is made, and for 3 months gradually the plant exudes out the resinous material, and then it is collected, and then again and again this process goes on. Injuries are made on the root and then the Asafoetida is collected. Sometimes it is collected from fossil resins. Yes, from fossil also it can be collected, and the example is copal and kauri. By the processing the incrustations. Incrustations are generally produced by insects, as I showed in the picture already. Generally, the plant material is only processed to produce the resin, but the enzymes that are released are through certain insects. And one drug is shellac, which is produced like that. Shellac is generally used as a excipient in novel drug delivery systems. And sometimes this is also produced by the sucking the juice of the plants by the scale of the insects, like the Lechifera leca. It is again one of the method of producing the shellac. Now the chemical tests of these resins, as such individual chemical tests are generally not available. However, we'll just have a look. One test is the HCl test, where we use the dilute HCl in the resinous solution and it gives a pink color in the presence of resins. The second test is FeCl3 test. Here we add the ferric chloride solution and we get a green blue color showing the presence of resins. The third test is generally done for umbelliferone, which is an ingredient of Asafoetida hing, and in this we take the HCl and add concentrated ammonium hydroxide solution along with nitric acid and sulfuric acid, and finally we wash it with water. So if we are adding the HCl and concentrated ammonium hydroxide, we will get the blue fluorescence. If we are adding nitric acid, we get green color. With sulfuric acid, we get red color, and when we wash it with water, we get a violet coloration. The next test is copper acetate test, which is generally done for abatic acid, and in this we add petroleum ether to the so we take a petroleum ether extract of resin, to that we add copper acetate and we get a emerald green color. What are the pharmaceutical applications? So we studied about the resins, but what are the general uses of resins? I'll tell you that they are very diverse in nature, from excipients to anti-cancer agents. All these type of resins are available. So the first example, it is local irritant. For example, jalap and hypomia. So they act as local cathartics. They cause irritation in the GIT and this lead to the cathartic action. They are anti-cancer. In the case of podophyllum, a semi-synthetic drug, etoposide. It is generally produced from the podophyllitoxin, which is produced from podophyllum rhizomes. Then it is also used in bronchial asthma, like cannabis, the charas and ganja, which is produced from the same drug cannabis. We can produce certain cannabinoids, which as well as resinous materials, which can be used to treat the bronchial asthma. They generally used externally as mild antiseptics in the form of tinctures, for example benzoin, as well as plasters, for example turpentine and colophony. And then they are also used in the preparation of emulsions and sustained release formulations, like in the case of shellac. Thank you very much.